Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. I am Eva and this here is the Deaux. Welcome to my tribe.
We were sure, and I must have been blind just to think I'd find someone new, one who loved me better than you. Well, we made it home as a surprise. Loneliness has opened my eyes. I tried every love I could find. Still I can't get you out of my mind. 'Cause there's no one in the world to love. No one in the world's gonna move me. No one in the world can love me like you do, baby. Every time.
So welcome back. We are deep into our bag for underwater cities. Be it myth, be it fact. I know that like for a long time, when I was growing up, they were always thinking about how New Orleans is going to be underwater. But I've experienced a whole bunch of historical floods living in Baton Rouge, and it kind of made me kind of curious about like places that have been flooded and remain flooded, in that they have flooded cities underwater. They are like abandoned cities. So that's what this is, the next set of videos. Let's get up into it.
Underwater cities. Our history is much different than we've been taught. In 1985, an ocean expedition by the National Institute of Oceanography discovered an ancient underwater city called Dwarka off the coast of India. The city not only contains intricately carved structures and road systems, but also mechanisms that once used to move. They must have had access to knowledge that made them extremely advanced. But here is where it gets crazy. This city was written about in the Mahabharata. In the ancient Hindu text, it is known as the Gated City and is one of the 7 pilgrimage sites. At its peak, there were 900,000 royal palaces, all constructed with crystal, gold, and emeralds. The team at the end of their expedition said that the evidence confirms the existence of a city in 1500 BC, and it is also reasonable to assume that it is the city mentioned in the Mahabharata. But this is where things get even crazier. It is also said to be where Krishna, the Hindu god, used to live.
I heard about Krishna. Definitely heard about
They found the entrance to Atlantis. Take a look at this. This is the gates to Atlantis, the underground world. And this is like where the mer people live and like the gods and stuff. This is Atlantis entrance.
Okay, it's the mer people. Now, I don't know if y'all been viewing my content that I've done outside of music, but I told y'all on one of my last videos like this that I had this dream, and I heard the demons, and my mama made me say the 23rd song over and over and over and over again until I didn't hear it no more. That is what they sound like. That I remember it dead ass, and I had to be. I was really young. I don't remember the age. I was young though, and this has to be the sound. It has to be. That's crazy.
There's a whole town buried beneath this reservoir. The town of Valley Forge is located 100 feet beneath the water. And when the water level goes down, foundations like this one right in front of me are revealed. You can see pieces of old bricks. There's buildings, cars, churches, and even cemeteries located under the water. These old roads now lead to nowhere. These islands were once mountaintops, and there would have been houses and mills on top of there. This pit in front of me is another structure that was underwater just a month ago. Another road down there going into the water. Another one over there. Hit that thumbs up to see more cool places like this.
TikTok, ancient pyramids and cities found underwater outside of Cuba. Check this out.
Lost city found beneath Cuban waters. What they uncovered using their advanced sonar equipment was far more mysterious.
When they used the sonar on the seabed, what they found was not sunken gold. They found incredible architectural monuments down there. What they saw on these side scan sonar readings were pyramid-like buildings, long roads, all kinds of clearly megalithic stone architecture. There were sphinxes down there, that there were bizarre inscriptions on the stones. She had submersible footage of a pyramid down there that has kind of a change in its slope angle as it goes halfway up, similar to the bent pyramid of Dashur in Egypt.
Strangely, after they released their findings, the news outlets and networks went dark. What might they have stumbled upon?
This is Atlantis.
Forget the all-black town of Scarville that got massacred and buried over.
Oh, it's like Lanier. So this is the actual true story. So there was this town in around the Atlanta area where it was a whole bunch of black people living in this town, and they have thrived in the community. Like, they had a community that was thriving, and I guess the city, the state, they wanted the land because they thought that the land was very profitable for them. So they did the first round of trying to buy people's lands. I'm pretty sure they just like went around asking people if they want to sell their land, and nobody, I don't think they got the amount of people that they wanted. So after that didn't work, then they tried to forcefully have them taken out, and that didn't work. And so they ended up making a dam. I think they was trying to build up a river or something like that. And so what they ended up doing was I think they're trying to get the river to merge up with the dam to make energy, because they needed more energy because Atlanta was being built up and they wanted to be this big town. So they needed that dam to provide energy and more energy for Atlanta. So what ended up happening is they flooded out all of the residents. The whole town got flooded out, and that's what Lake Lanier is on top of. And so now, like, if you go inside of Lake Lanier, you'll see a whole town underwater. And then you hear there are so many people with stories about how they have taken vacation, or they took a trip to the beach with Lake Lanier or whatever, and they've gotten either stuck down there. They got a lot of them couldn't swim, and there was people that helped them out of the water and put them on shore. And out of all of the stories I've heard, they all end up being like the same type of deal. They either was thrown into the lake out of malice, or they got caught up in the lake and something brought them back to the shore. and they weren't scared about it. They weren't scared that they were drowning. It was just like that was something that they just think that they were experiencing, remembered. So this is what this is. So I guess the name of the town that was massacred and buried was Oscarville. Let's pause it here. It says Lake Lanier was a highly developed black neighborhood with raceways, businesses, I want to say it's just homes, churches, schools, and so many other things. The neighborhood was known as Oscarville in Forsyth County. That was until 1912, when the neighborhood unfortunately suffered a racial cleansing, driving out about 1,100 people. This act of terrorism was a response to rape accusation from a white woman and alleged assault of another white woman. A lynch mob was formed, and they, I guess I can't read that, and hung one black suspect in hell. I don't know, something like that. A short trial, I guess. It was more of a shady. So basically, this is racially motivated. Things to know.
George Deaux, a retired architect and amateur archaeologist, claims to have found an underwater city he has named Chrysanchus, located in the Chandelier Islands 50 miles off the coast of New Orleans. Deaux says the city may date back 12,000.
So this is another one that I seen in my research. They said that Deaux says the city may date back 1,200 years ago. It is an underwater city that's off of the, I guess, the Gulf Coast. So yeah, the Gulf Coast of the, what water is that? The Atlantic? Is that the Atlantic? No, Atlantic's out here. So that is the Gulf of Mexico, and that goes into, y'all don't know I don't know my oceans. I just know it's Atlantic is out here because it's cold as hell. You try to go in there water, it's cold, and you go on the other side, the opposite way, on the other side of the world, that water hot as hell. So their warm water's there, cold water's here.
Years and has a pyramid at its center, which he claims emits a strong energy which has caused sailors' navigation instruments to malfunction. Fishermen in Louisiana have reported strange events in the area, including instruments on their boats malfunctioning and other peculiar stories that are reminiscent of the infamous Bermuda Triangle. Some believe that the area off the coast of St. Bernard Parish may have been dry land before the end of the last ice age 12,000 years ago. It's not clear if Chrysanchus is a real lost city or not. Let me know what you think down in the comments below.
I think it's real, child. Definitely think it's real.
Is there an ancient civilization underwater off?
So this is another thing that I read about. So apparently there are pyramids under the water off of the Gulf of Mexico. St. Bernard, I think it was like St. Bernard Parish is where all the fishermen and stuff be at. So it says lost civilization in the Gulf. Louisiana's history. Louisiana's hidden ancient city and pyramid. Is there an ancient civilization underwater off the coast of Louisiana?
Coast of Louisiana. Let's take a look. So this retired architect.
So it says the discovery of an ancient city and pyramid off the coast of Louisiana has sparked intrigue and debate within the archaeological community. The man behind the discovery is George Deaux, a retired architect turned amateur archaeologist Gali's claims of finding the remnants of an ancient civilization submerged underwater near the Chandeleur Islands have garnered both interest and skepticism. This article will dive into the details of Gali's discovery, his theories about the site, and the broader implications of our understanding of ancient civilizations. So this retired architect turned amateur archaeologist.
Turned amateur archaeologist George Deaux, hope I'm saying the name right, claims to have found the remnants of ancient civilization submerged underwater somewhere near the Chandeleur Islands. Apparently there are these large granite mounds underwater there, which he is claiming they are the ruins of an ancient civilization, including a pyramid. His theory proposes that these granite mounds are artifacts from a 12,000-year-old lost city. Of course, this has not been confirmed, been met with some skepticism. More research needs to be interesting, nonetheless. What do y'all think?
I believe it. I believe it. So now they're saying, scientists, they're trying to say that by the year 2050, the New Orleans will be underwater. They've been saying that. They've been trying to predict that for so long now that we don't believe it. I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. I don't think so. Okay, so I'm gonna go back a little bit. So it says 5 American towns hidden under lakes, and Lake Lanier isn't the only black town that was flooded. So this says Ferguson, South Carolina, and this is Lake Marion. Little Egypt, North Carolina, Bellows Lake, Vanport, Oregon, Delta Park, Coaliga, Benson, Alabama, Lake Martin, Oscarville, Georgia, Lake Lanier. That's crazy.
This is Lake Lanier. It's a lake in Forsyth County, Georgia, where people go swimming and boating and fishing and do a bunch of other lakey things. But before it was Lake Lanier, it was a town called Oscarville, Georgia. Now, Oscarville was a thriving, predominantly black community with a church, a school, and dozens of homes, until the year 1912, when a very bad thing happened. Oh, 2 very bad things. In 1912, 2 black teenagers were accused of rape. They were tried, convicted, and sentenced to death in a single day. And after they were executed, a mob of white men terrorized, drove out, or killed all the black people in the surrounding area. And they did that until the entire black community of Oscarville disappeared. The county went from having over 1,000 black residents in 1912 to 0 in 1920. That story is so sad, it makes this story look like a comedy. Right. After the black community had been run off, the white people of Forsyth County said, you know what we could use? A big old lake. So they made one, right where the town of Oscarville had just been. They flooded the area and literally covered up the entire town with water. This is what it looks like right now. But the town is still under there. The homes and churches and schools, they're still down there. And now people go boating on top of them. Ever heard of Colegia, Alabama? It was once a thriving black community with a black college, the first black railroad, and literally hundreds of family homes. Today, it's Lake Martin. At least they had the decency to name it after a black person. And if you think this kind of thing only happened in the South, let me introduce you to a place called Central Park. It's named after that coffee shop on Friends. Central Park used to have a black community in it called York Hill. But the city of New York destroyed York Hill so that they could build the Central Park Reservoir. Because if there's one thing New York needs, it's another place for ducks to hang out. But if you come here, don't try and feed those ducks. They are very aggressive. Mess around and lose a finger. Now, when the residents of York Hill were kicked out of their homes, they fled to another black community nearby called Seneca Village. And then a few years later, New York destroyed Seneca Village too, so that they could build Central Park on top of it. The craziest part of this story is that I work a few blocks away from a place where the government disappeared 2 black communities. And until recently, I didn't know about any of it. You know why? Because it worked. They tried to erase black communities and they came way too close. But now there are people doing the research. So we are finally learning about places like Henry and McKee Islands, which is now located under Lake Guntersville in Alabama, and Vanport, Oregon, which is now located under Delta Park. And all of these towns, which are currently literally underwater.
Crazy.
Hey, wait, hold on. What was that last one? Old Neversink. That's a real place. Well, if we've learned one thing today, it's never assume something is unsinkable. There are over 100 drowned American towns, and many were destroyed in the name of something called development-induced displacement. That's when people have to leave their homes so the government can develop things like dams or parks or lakes. This happens to both white and black people, but historically when it happens, black people and other people of color are undercompensated for their property or not compensated at all. The theory is that the short-term bad effects are worth the long-term benefits for the community. But it's not fair if the long-term gain is mostly for white people. Now, luckily, there's a solution. It's a very complicated system. It involves a series of, who am I kidding? Cut some dang checks. That's it. If you're going to kick black people out of their homes, make sure they have the money to stay on their feet. Cut a dang check. And yes, you can pay their descendants too, because generational wealth is one of the many things that is destroyed when you put black communities underwater. So cut a dang check. These drowned towns are part of the black American history they don't want to teach you. It's ugly and it's gross and we don't even know all of it. And the more we find out, the harder it is to love this place that would do those things to so many people. And if you're feeling this way, which I often do, you can try loving what this country could become instead. Our history may be full of pain, but our future has limitless possibilities. So look to the future, while simultaneously being suspicious of every lake you see. This has been How Did We Get Here?
Yes. Okay, sis.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am Eva. This
How did they get it in there? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay. Hold on, yeah. I think this is it. Not bad, y'all. I don't know how I got it in.
Submitted the story Jada. So Jada was living in a rented room at the time and the landlord had 3 wives. So Jada describes the first and second wives as being very jovial and friendly. The third wife, she was always moody. She always came off angry, like the girl had no friends. And the third wife, the angry one, girl, she gets pregnant with her 3rd baby. But this pregnancy took her more than a year to have that child. The baby took way over.
Okay, we going into different realms, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I'll see you in my next video, my friends. Hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed the content that I just provided to you. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, because I need that for the algorithm. And like, share, and subscribe to the creators of the content. They also need it. Also, Their information will be in the description part of this video. Y'all be easy and stay dangerous, my nigga.